What is going on, guys? Predator458 here, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we are back at the racetrack in Assetto Corsa. Once again we are at Spa-Francorchamps, which is pretty much my little test circuit that I like to run a lot of my cars on. And today we are going to be looking at two community made mods. Let's actually just close this quickly. The first one, as you can see, is a McLaren Formula 1 car. This is the MP4-13, which was of course the F1 car that the team used during the 1998 Formula 1 season, driven by Mika Häkkinen and David Coulthard. So we're going to take a look at this, and then we'll switch to something else after a few laps in the McLaren. Doesn't that just sound fantastic? Don't you just miss those old, screaming, shrieking V10 engines? So once we've done a couple of laps in this car, we are going to switch over to the, I believe it's the 2009 Williams Formula 1 car. And we're going to see what a little over a decade's worth of progress feels like in terms of gameplay in Assetto Corsa. Now, as you can see, I did forget to turn the Ghost car off. So what you're seeing is just a previous session of me just messing around, getting a feel for the car. This and the Ghost car time are being recorded and on optimum track settings. However, we're on 20 degrees Celsius ambient temperature while the Ghost was on 26. And I think the Ghost, when I did that, I was also using the soft compound tires. A little bit of a lockup there, but nothing too serious. Now, I don't drive like single seat cars too often, so I'm not all that familiar with them. And there's probably a lot of times where I could brake later, go through corners faster, really use that downforce. But as I said, I mean, I tend to spend more of my time in like the GT cars or the road cars in Assetto Corsa. But hopefully we're going to be able to get this thing round the track without too many incidents. But it really is an absolute joy to drive this thing. It's, I mean, stupidly fast, obviously. You have to have like the reactions of a paranoid fly in order to catch this thing when it misbehaves. But it is so much fun to drive. If you think about what you'd expect, another lockup, but we did manage to get the car slowed down in time. If you think back to, you know, if you think what you'd expect a Formula 1 car to drive like, what you expect it to feel like, I think this mod team has really nailed it. I mean, you know, it's got a lot of grip, a lot of power, it brakes really well, it goes through corners incredibly well, especially the faster ones, but those rear tires can still be overwhelmed by the power of this V10 engine. So we've actually done quite well so far in this first sector. We're keeping relatively close to our Ghost car. And pick our braking point, brake hard down to third, a little bit over the curb. We don't want to do it too much because this car does not like it. Get the nose in and back on the power. And one of the trickiest things with this car is braking, actually. It's incredibly easy to lock your wheels and just slide off the track. But we're going to do our best to do as little of that as possible. Coming through 260 kilometers an hour, imagine what that must feel like in real life. Quickly down to third. Try and get the nose in. We are understeering a little bit. I mean, this is the car's default setup. I haven't tweaked anything. I'm sure you could get this to go a hell of a lot faster when you start playing around with the car setup. Oh, but I mean, this is... Oh no, the Ghost is in front of us. Damn that Ghost. 308 kilometers going through there. That must be an experience, eh? And we locked a wheel somewhere and it pulled us to the left, almost off the track. A little bit of oversteer. Trying to keep the back end under control as we put the power down. In a 55, 8, So not bad. I think that might actually be my new best lap time in this car, and we are on the medium tires. So that's not bad at all. But I mean, they've just done such a fantastic job. The mod team deserves all the praise they get for this. One thing to look forward to though is they are also working on its Ferrari rival from the same season, the F300 I believe it was. So I mean, it's nowhere near finished yet, but once they finish that, and we have those two 98 F1 cars in game, should be pretty spectacular. Another little lockup as we try and bring the car down to the correct speed to go through there, but nothing too serious. So got a little bit too much speed into this corner. But I mean, I don't know what else to say about this car actually. I mean, it sounds fantastic, it drives brilliantly. You know, and we were a little bit slow through that corner. There's nothing actually wrong with it. I mean, this is a professional mod team that's done it. And it really shows, it really shows. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how Formula 1 car feels 10 years down the line. So we'll finish off this lap in the McLaren, and then we'll hop on over to the Williams and have a go in that. I can tell you now the Williams is substantially faster. Another lockup, but we did manage to get the nose in. And easy on the power. The engines scream as we go towards the start finish line, and we managed to beat our best time. So 1:55.7 is the target to beat in the Williams. But anyways, let me go and put this McLaren back in my garage and pull out the Williams. I will see you guys in a few seconds. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Spa-Francorchamps and our second community-made Formula 1 car. This is the 2009 Williams FW31, I believe it was called. Feel free to correct me if I am wrong. So as you can see, medium compound tires again, and let's have a quick look at the model of the car. Isn't that beautiful? Also done a very good job. Same for the cabin. Not quite as sharp, I'd say, as the McLaren, but still a very good job. So let's get going. It's already trying to kill us. Now obviously we are on very cold tires, so we're going to have a few lockups until we can get some heat into them. And a little bit of oversteer coming out of there, which I wasn't quite expecting. Anyway, so down into the hairpin, we managed to do that quite nicely. And let's get on the power. So compared to the McLaren, still sounds pretty good, doesn't it? Not quite as high-pitched and shrieky as the McLaren. So maybe you prefer the sound. I prefer the V10s. But I mean, still got an awesome sound to it. So bring it down from 7th to 3rd in like half a second. And get the power down. This car's a much easier car to drive than the McLaren. 10 years of development has really shows. You feel like you got a lot more aerodynamic grip, even though the rear wing is a lot smaller. But not just aerodynamic grip, you've also got more confidence in the tires. I mean, obviously we are now on slick tires instead of the groove tires that they used back in 1998. But overall, you just feel a lot more confident in the car just from a grip levels. I mean, you can really push it, and obviously if you push it too far, it is going to bite you, and it's going to bite you hard. But you can keep it on the track with relative ease. So 314 kilometers an hour through that corner, what an experience. Brake hard, down to second, get the nose in, and let's see what we can do on our first flying lap. But I mean, even that outlap was a 150.7, and compare that to what the McLaren was, 155.7. So we're pretty much 5 seconds up on our outlap where we had fairly cold tires. Obviously we now also have a 7th ratio in our gearbox, 7-speed instead of the 6 that the McLaren used. So it means the gear ratios can be much shorter, so you go through them a lot quicker and you have better acceleration out of the corners. Now we're 3/10 up on our outlap, and turned in a little bit early there. Sometimes these Formula 1 cars, they still sort of surprise you with how little lock they need in certain situations, so you turn in like you would a normal race car or road car, whatever, and you just mess everything up. But this car, you really get into a fantastic groove with this car. You just sort of, changing gears, turning in, braking and all that without really thinking about what you're doing or what you need to do. And it's very confidence inspiring. And as I said, I mean, so much easier. You don't really have to worry about locking wheels under braking or fighting oversteer out of slower corners. And if you want more of a challenge, you can obviously turn the track surface down from optimum to, I don't know, slow or green. It's a lot of fun doing it that way. I just decided that for this video, I'd rather not have to restart it over and over again because I kept spinning out or whatever, so I thought I'd just make it easy on myself to talk and drive one of these things. So it was a slightly slower than our outlap, actually. Made a few mistakes. Get the car slowed down for the hairpin and get onto that loud pedal as we scream towards Eau Rouge. One thing I'd also like to add about this car, when you go through the really fast corners like that, the steering, if you've got a nice force feedback steering wheel, the steering really weights up a lot. It gets quite heavy in the faster stuff, which the McLaren doesn't really do. The McLaren's quite light all the time. This is light in, say, like the slow and medium corners, but in the higher speed stuff, it really actually gets quite heavy, which is quite nice. I like that. Oh, a little bit too much over the curb there. We probably lost a bit of time, but we are still ahead of the Ghost, maybe? I don't know. He's close. We can't see him. Now, initially I went through this section in 4th when I was just doing practice runs, but one time I accidentally went down to 3rd and pulled out like half a second on my previous Ghost, so seems 3rd works a bit better, and the Ghost has managed to sneak past the tricksy bugger. We'll see if maybe we can set a new fastest lap in this, but I doubt it. So overall, both of these cars are really good fun to drive. They're nice and challenging. The Williams is easier, as I said, and a 149.5. I think that might be a new best lap for me. I'm not sure. But let's wrap this up with a few final thoughts. The Williams is easier to drive, which makes the McLaren a bit more rewarding. The McLaren also sounds better, in my opinion, and as I said, because it's more difficult, it's more fun, and when you get things right, it's more rewarding. But both of these cars are absolutely fantastic, and if you have a Assetto Corsa, I highly recommend you check them out. If I remember, I will put the link in the description down below for where you can go and download them. But I think that is about it for this video, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for stopping by. If you enjoyed, please feel free to hit that thumbs up button down below and consider subscribing to my channel for more, a little bit more Assetto Corsa content. I don't do it too often, but if you enjoy it, consider subscribing. You might even enjoy seeing some stuff on World of Warships and War Thunder. But that is it. Thank you very much for stopping by. This is Predator458 signing off, and I will see you guys next time.